Charity hovered near the doorway, unable to speak, her eyes darting between Susan and Jessica. Where have you been?" James asked, kneeling in front of Susan with tears streaming down his face. Susan inhaled deeply, meeting his gaze. "I tried to come home sooner," she murmured, "but I had no memory, not at first." Charity flinched, realizing the nightmare unfolding before her was only beginning. Jessica climbed onto Susan's lap, resting her head on her mother's chest. Susan stroked her hair slowly. "It's okay, sweetheart," she whispered. Charity pressed a hand to her mouth, overwhelmed by the sight of the daughter she assumed lost forever. The police officer turned toward Charity with a calm, probing look. "We'll need to speak with everyone," he said firmly. Charity's voice quivered. I don't understand what's happening." Susan lifted her eyes toward her, and the intensity in them felt like a blade. "You will," she said quietly. The officer added, "Madam Susan and her daughter were located after extensive tracing from a rural medical facility." Charity swallowed hard, stepping backward. James, still overwhelmed, reached for Susan's hands again. "I thought I lost you," he whispered. Susan managed a tired smile. "I thought so too." Charity backed away slowly, the room spinning. She realized nothing she constructed over the past year, every lie, every attempt to fit into Susan's life, survived the truth now sitting in her living room. And for the first time, true fear gripped her completely. With everyone gathered in the living room, Susan began recounting the night that had changed all their lives. Her voice wavered at first, but gradually steadied as she leaned on James' comforting presence. "That night, after the argument," she said softly, her eyes drifting to Charity, "I remember falling. Then darkness." Charity lowered her gaze quickly, her throat tightening. Susan continued, "When I woke, I was outside. It was raining heavily. I couldn't stand. I crawled toward a faint light." James squeezed her hand gently, whispering, "You went through all that alone?" She nodded. "Two travelers found me on the roadside. They rushed me to a small clinic far from here. I had swelling in my head, broken ribs, and I couldn't remember my name." Charity felt her stomach twist as Susan added, "I drifted in and out of consciousness for weeks." Jessica curled closer to her mother as Susan explained how the travelers found Jessica crying upstairs and took her along for safety. "They kept her close because I couldn't speak," Susan said, tears gathering in her eyes. "They waited for my memory to return." But healing was slow. Charity's hands shook uncontrollably. "You didn't remember anything?" she asked faintly. Susan met her gaze. "At first, no. Not until doctors transferred me to a bigger hospital months later." Her voice hardened. Then pieces started coming back. Your face, the kitchen, the argument, the fall. The room fell silent. The police officer cleared his throat. Mrs. Susan's medical records confirmed trauma-related amnesia. Charity felt lightheaded. Susan ended quietly. "When I remembered, I knew I had to come home and tell the truth." Charity wished she could disappear, because every sentence Susan spoke pushed her closer to the fate she feared most. James